battle at Yanggu Valley, Filipino combat team's high-altitude mountain ordeal. It's bitter cold. The wind howls across a jagged ridge high in the Korean mountains. Snowdrifts swirl like ghost spirits, and below you can hear the distant rumble of ordnance. Tonight, a handful of Filipino soldiers, far from home, surrounded by enemy positions, at altitudes that steal your breath, steel themselves for a fight that will test every ounce of courage they carry in their hearts. Before we go further, if you are new here, please hit subscribe, smash that like button, and leave a comment down below. Tell me what you'd like to see next. Now, the story begins. In the summer of 1953, deep in the eastern sector of the Korean War, the valley of Yanggu Valley in Gangwon Province, South Korea, became the stage for one of the lesser-known but emotionally wrenching chapters of the war. The Filipino combat team, the 2nd Battalion Combat Team, Philippines, known as the Black Lions, took up a freezing position, manning rugged outposts while the wind hammered their foxholes. The enemy watched, and 0 hour approached. Picture this: men from the Philippines, tropical nation, palm trees, humid heat, now digging in on snow-covered ridgelines, shivering, exposed, at high altitude where the air is thin, the enemy is closer than mercy. They are charged with guarding a critical valley, preventing infiltration, holding the line so that other UN forces can sleep a little safer. It's not glamorous, it's not the big headline battle you learned in school, but it is heroism in its rawest form. The Philippines' contribution to the Korean War might surprise you. Over 7,400 men were sent across the Pacific under the banner of the Philippine Expeditionary Force to Korea, PEFTOK. Among them, the Black Lions arrived later in the war, after the ferocious early fights, and took up positions deep in the eastern mountains of Korea. The location they held, Yanggu Valley, harsh terrain, high altitude, snow-filled ridges, the kind of environment where cold kills more than bullets sometimes. One veteran later recalled that every step crunched with ice, every night the wind found the smallest gap in the bunker wall, every dawn brought the threat of infiltration. Here's the setup. The armistice negotiations were underway, but ceasefire lines were fragile, vigil dangerous. The Black Lions were attached to the U.S. 10 Corps in the Yanggu sector, taking over former positions and preparing for small unit contact, patrols, ambushes. Their mission? Guard the valley, stop enemy infiltration from the Chinese or North Korean side, and keep the line unbroken. What made their ordeal unique was altitude. Mountain ridges at 1,000 to 1,500 meters, freezing winds, little cover. Logistics were tough. Supply lines stretched, rescue options limited, ammunition and food occasionally late. Yet these men endured. Picture them in sub-zero nights, tents flapping, rifles at hand, listening to the crack of a distant shot. They knew the enemy could strike at any moment. In daytime, the valley offered horrid panoramic visibility, but also cruel exposure. Enemy lookouts higher, shells falling from unseen heights. The men of the Black Lions learned to dig trenches into rock, stock up on the minimal comfort, build camaraderie because fear was constant. One Filipino veteran later said, "You fight the mountain as much as you fight the enemy."
Halfway through their deployment, a lull came, not of peace, but of waiting. Quiet patrols, snow melting into bog. The men replaced bullets with boredom, until one night the silence broke. Infiltration, small arms fire, shadows moving. It was a reminder the war front was still alive, even here, even at this altitude. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button and leave your comment. If you were on that ridge with your rifle and the wind howling, how would you prepare? We're now heading into the toughest moment, The climax. Stay with me. In the early weeks of their assignment, the Black Lions realized that the enemy was not always obvious. Tracks in fresh snow, a faint whistle of wind masking distant mortar. At altitude, reactions had to be faster because a wounded man suffered more than the injury. He suffered altitude, cold, exposure, hypothermia. The soldier who fell behind could freeze long before recovery arrived. One night, a patrol discovered footprints leading along a ridge they believed secure. The commanding officers ordered a counter-patrol at midnight. The valley lay under a pale winter moon. Shadows played tricks. The tree line at the ridge line looked like enemy troops. The patrol crept through icy soil, rifles ready. Then came the crack. Enemy machine gun fire. The patrol returned fire, edged back, reported location. Reinforcements scrambled. It turned into several hours of cat and mouse. The Black Lions held firm, the infiltrators withdrew. The valley remained under Filipino watch. The cost? Wounded. Messenger runs under fire. Morale bruised but not broken. Back at camp, the men repaired foxholes, reinforced overhead protection, added small trenches. They learned to tie ropes to their gear so nothing slid away during the night shift. They practiced short bursts of firing at known ridge approaches. They built their survival gear, extra socks, small stoves, boiled water in tea cans. Soldiers joked among themselves that the mountain was their enemy too. Frostbitten noses, sleepless nights, snow-packed boots. One march ended with soldiers exhaling crystals of frost from their mouths, thinking they were near home, but realizing in this valley, home was far away. The larger strategic picture, the UN line in the east was solidifying. Armistice talks entered a new phase. But until an agreement was final, every ridge, every valley counted. The Yanggu Valley was one of those pieces. The Filipinos often operated alongside American and South Korean units, sharing intel, supporting each other on overlapping fronts. The enemy knew this. Infiltration attempts, artillery probes, sniper fire, all became part of the daily routine. During the daylight, the men would catalog enemy activity. Shell bursts on ridge lines, tracers passing overhead, observers marking movement. In one instance, a sniper shot a young Filipino soldier through his helmet's brow. The man survived, but that morning, the line of whitened snow turned red at the edge of the foxhole. The Black Lions paused. They commemorated him quietly, then continued. There was no choice. The mountain waited for no one. The night of the decisive incident arrived. A bitter wind slammed against the ridgetops. The valley below lay dim and quiet. At 0200 hours, the Black Lions' forward observation post spotted movement, enemy shapes descending from a higher ridge toward the valley floor. They moved fast. They moved silent. The call came, "Contact! Contact!" Foxholes rattled. The mountain echoed with mortar and small arms fire. The enemy attempted to seize a key height, cut the supply route, disrupt the Filipinos' hold on Yanggu.
The Filipino troops, though outnumbered and exhausted, rose to the challenge. They held the high ground. They had the better lines of sight. In the swirling snow and darkness, the ridge became forest of tracer bullets and flame. One Filipino platoon, isolated on the left flank, saw the enemy creeping toward their position. They held steady. Ammunition crunched like hail in rifles. The cold made every trigger squeeze heavier, but they squeezed it. The mountain shook with full-blown firefight. In one dramatic moment, a Filipino squad leader, hearing the enemy break through alarm, rushed from his foxhole and wound through deep snow to reinforce a wounded soldier in another position. The wind howled, his boots sank, artillery screeched overhead. Yet he reached the wounded man, covered him, fired back, held the line. That sheer act of selfless courage slowed the enemy's momentum. Above them, the mountain ridge they defended glowed with flares. The valley floor was obscured beneath drifting snow. From the ridge, one could see outlines of enemy units withdrawing, their casualties mounting. At dawn, the valley lay quiet again, littered with spent shells and frozen footprints. The Black Lions had held. They kept Yanggu Valley from slipping. The cost? Several wounded, 1 or 2 killed. Uniforms shredded with snow and mud, weapons iced over. But they held. In the silence of morning, the commanding officer looked out across the valley to peaks they had defended and simply said, "We stayed." That 4-hour night changed their perception. This was no longer just a deployment. It was a test of endurance, grit, Filipino resolve. If this part hit you in the gut, please tap that like button again, share the video, and drop a comment. Send a salute to those who fought up there in the cold. Months later, when the guns finally quieted and the peace talk lines held, the men of the Black Lions returned home. Many refused to call what they did glory. They called it duty. They called it survival. The valley of Yanggu, the ridge they held, the snow they dug into, those became memories etched in frost and metal and sacrifice. The campaign of the Philippine Expeditionary Force to Korea, all 5 battalions, proved something important. Despite being from a small nation, facing bad weather, tough terrain, and a determined enemy, they fought side by side with UN forces in Korea. They showed the world that courage knows no climate, that honor carries in any latitude, that a soldier in Manila can be as brave as one in New York or Seoul. For the men in Yanggu, the altitude tested their bodies, the snow tested their wills, the enemy tested their resolve, but they stood firm. Their story is not just another battle story. It is a human story of men far from home, fighting for ideals bigger than themselves. It is about the mountain, the valley, the cold, the fear, and the triumph of staying when all else asks you to fall back. Today, when you walk by war memorials or read the names etched in stone of Filipino soldiers who fell in Korea, remember that high-altitude ridge. Remember the wind. Remember the willingness to hold the line in silence, alone, when the bullets were scarce but the stakes were everything. Here's the final request. If this video moved you, please subscribe now, like, and comment your thoughts. What part of this story struck you most? Maybe the mountain, maybe the man, maybe the cold. Share this video with friends who appreciate war history, who appreciate human courage. Thank you for watching. Until the next story, remember, history is full of unsung ridges, unknown valleys, quiet heroes. Let's keep telling them. Thank you so much for subscribing, liking, and commenting on our video. God bless us all, always.